My mom literally took my phone, my laptop, and my car keys because I got a B plus in AP chemistry, while my brother got a full report card of DS, and she told him she was proud of him for trying his best. I need to back up and explain my family because none of this makes sense without context. My name's Eliana. I'm 17, I'm a junior, and I've been on honor roll every single semester since 6th grade. That's not me bragging. That's me explaining the cage I built for myself without even knowing it. My parents are both first-generation immigrants. My dad came from Lebanon when he was 19, my mom from Jordan when she was 21. They met in Michigan, got married fast, and had me and my brother back to back. My brother Kareem is 15, a sophomore, and he's basically my opposite in every academic sense. I do Model UN, I'm in an HS, I take 4 AP classes, and I already have a running list of colleges I want to apply to. Kareem plays basketball, barely turns in homework, and has been on academic probation twice. And look, I love my brother. He's funny, he's kind, he'd give you his last $5. But school has never been his thing, and my parents have always known that. The thing is, in our house, there's this unspoken understanding that I'm the smart one and Kareem is the social one. My parents never actually said those words out loud, but you can feel it in the way they talk to us, the way they set expectations. For me, anything below an A is a conversation. For Kareem, showing up to class is an achievement. I used to think that was just normal. I used to think, okay, they expect more from me because I can deliver more. That felt fair. It felt like respect, even. But this semester, something cracked. Thing you have to understand is that this didn't come out of nowhere. There's been this slow buildup over years, this quiet pattern that I kept excusing because I didn't want to be that kid who complains about being the good one. But sophomore year, I got a 91 on a math final and my dad asked me what happened to the other 9 points. I laughed it off. That same semester, Kareem failed his English midterm and my mom just sighed and said, "We'll get a tutor." No lecture, no disappointment face, no confiscation of anything. Junior year, fall semester, I stayed up until 2 in the morning every night for 3 weeks to finish a research project for a push. And when I told my mom about the I got, she said, "Good, Habibti," without looking up from her phone. 2 weeks later, Kareem made a B minus on a quiz, and my parents took him out to dinner to celebrate. I sat in my room and told myself it didn't bother me. That was a lie. It absolutely bothered me. But I didn't say anything because in my family, you don't challenge your parents. You don't talk back. You just perform and perform and perform, and you hope that eventually someone notices the weight of what you're carrying. And I kept performing. I kept getting the grades, I kept being responsible, I kept swallowing the sting every time Kareem got celebrated for doing the bare minimum. I told myself that one day it would matter. That one day my parents would look at everything I'd done and say, "We see you." But that day didn't come. What came instead was report card day, spring semester, junior year. Report cards came out on a Friday. I remember because I had just gotten home from a Model UN practice round and I was exhausted. I checked the portal on my phone in the car before I even walked inside. 4 A's and 1 B plus. The B plus was in AP chemistry, which, by the way, is one of the hardest classes my school offers. My teacher, Mr. Gaines, has a class average of a C plus. A B plus in that class is genuinely something to feel good about. I walked through the front door and my mom was already sitting at the kitchen table with her laptop open to the parent portal. She had that look. You know the look. The one where her mouth is flat and her eyes are doing all the talking. She didn't even greet me. She just said, "What happened in chemistry?" Not "How was your day?" Not 4 as "That's great." Just straight to the one imperfect thing. I tried to explain. I said, "Mom, the class average is a C plus. A B plus is really solid. Mr. Gaines even told me he was impressed with my improvement on the final." She didn't care. She said, "A B plus is not your best, Eliana. You know what you're capable of. This is what happens when you spread yourself too thin with all these extracurriculars." That stung because she was the one who told me colleges want extracurriculars. She literally drove me to my first Model UN meeting. Then my dad came downstairs and it was like they had rehearsed it. He said, "You're grounded for 2 weeks. Phone, laptop after homework only, no car." I stood there with my backpack still on, my mouth open, trying to process the fact that 4 has meant nothing. That one B plus had erased an entire semester of late nights and hard work. And then right on cue, Kareem walked in through the garage door, basketball under his arm, grinning. My mom turned to him and said, "Kareem Habibti, I saw your grades. You passed everything. I'm so proud of you." He got 3 DS and 2 CS. He passed, barely, and she was beaming at him like he'd just won a Nobel Prize. I looked at my dad. He was smiling too. He clapped Kareem on the shoulder and said, "See? Hard work pays off." I wanted to scream. I didn't scream. I just went upstairs, closed my door, and sat on my bed staring at the wall for probably 20 minutes, trying to figure out if I was crazy or if what just happened was as insane as it felt. The next 2 weeks were unbearable. I followed the rules. I handed over my phone every night. I only used my laptop for homework. I didn't drive anywhere. I was a ghost in my own house. But what made it worse, what made it so much worse, was watching Kareem live his best life the entire time. He had friends over. He went to a basketball game on Saturday. My mom made his favorite meal, lamb and rice with the yogurt sauce, because she was celebrating his progress. Nobody celebrated my 4s. Nobody even mentioned them again. I started pulling away. I stopped eating dinner with the family. I'd make a plate and take it to my room. My mom noticed after a few days and told me I was being dramatic. She said, "You're punishing us for holding you to a higher standard. That's not fair to us." And honestly, that sentence lived in my head rent-free for days because part of me wondered if she was right. Was I being ungrateful? Was I being selfish for wanting the same energy they gave Kareem? I talked to my best friend Nura about it at school, and she was furious on my behalf. She said I should say something, stand up for myself. So one night I did. I went downstairs after Kareem was asleep and I sat across from my parents in the living room, and I said, as calmly as I could, "I need you to understand that what you did hurt me. I worked really hard this semester, and I feel like none of it mattered because of one B+." My dad put down his tea. He looked at me and said, "Eliana, we push you because we believe in you. You don't push Kareem the same way because he's different. That's not unfair. That's parenting." My mom added, "You should be grateful we care enough to hold you accountable." I said, "But it doesn't feel like accountability. It feels like nothing I do is ever enough." And then my dad said the thing that broke something inside me. He said, "If you want to be praised for B+, then maybe you're not the daughter we thought you were." The room went completely silent. My mom didn't correct him. She didn't flinch. She just sipped her tea. I got up, walked back to my room, and for the first time in my life, I didn't cry about it. I was just empty. And then I did something I probably shouldn't have done. I stopped trying, not in a dramatic, fail all my classes way. But I stopped doing the extra credit. I stopped staying after school. I stopped raising my hand. I figured if a B+ gets me grounded and DS get my brother a party, then what exactly am I killing myself for? About a week later, I was looking for a charger in my parents' bedroom. My mom had taken mine with my phone, and I needed it to charge my laptop for paper. I wasn't snooping. I genuinely just needed a charger. But when I opened the drawer of my mom's nightstand, I found a printed email from Kareem's school. It was a letter from his guidance counselor saying that Kareem was at risk of being held back if his grades didn't improve next semester. The letter was dated 3 weeks before report cards came out. My parents already knew. They knew his DS weren't progress. They knew he was on the edge of failing out of his grade. That whole celebration, the pride, the lamb and rice, the shoulder claps, it was all performance. They were trying to encourage him because they were scared. And they took all of that fear and pressure and flipped it onto me because I was safe to be hard on. I was the one who wouldn't fall apart. I was the one who could take it. They weren't holding me to a higher standard. They were using me as the release valve for all the anxiety they couldn't show Kareem. I haven't told my parents I saw that letter. I put it back in the drawer and I walked away. My grounding ended 3 days ago. They gave me my phone back without a word, no apology, no acknowledgement. Things are technically normal again, but they don't feel normal. I look at my parents differently now. I understand them more maybe, but I respect them a little less, and that scares me because I don't want to feel that way about my own family. I've started trying again in school, not for them, but for me. For the version of myself that actually wants to go to college and build something. But there's a wall between me and my parents now that wasn't there before, and I don't think they even see it. So I guess what I want to know is, was I wrong for pulling back? Was I wrong for being hurt? Or were my parents wrong for punishing me for being good but not perfect while rewarding my brother for barely getting by? And honestly, if you found that letter, would you have said something? Because I still don't know if I should.